Mountain biking can be expensive. Parts and accessories can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds, euros or dollars. Bikes can cost you up to 5 figures, don't get me started on that. However, mountain biking doesn't have to be expensive. You can get yourself into the woods having fun without it costing you the earth. But if you've got some money, you've got the dosh, here's some things I think are expensive, but they're really good. Proper riding shoes. If you're riding clipless pedals, then you'll have had to buy yourself some riding shoes anyway, so you've made that investment. Whereas even on flats, I think, yes, of course, you can ride on your trainers, your sneakers, your skate shoes, but I think if you do invest the money, and they can cost above £80, up to $100 or more, but they're really good. You definitely get some proper technology in there. You get some proper grippy rubber on the bottom, which does make a world of difference. Of course, you probably do want to have some decent pedals, but decent shoes can make a massive difference between how much grip and how much control you've got on the bike when it comes to having some cheaper shoes that maybe aren't so grippy. Tyres. I always think the tyres seem really expensive because they're like a throwaway part. They're gonna wear out, you're gonna skid on them, you may even rip them, even punch them on your first ride. So it does feel like a big investment. Some of these tyres can cost £80, $80, euros, that sort of money. But the sort of more expensive tyres, you get some really good technology in these as well. Different compounds of rubber, super tacky rubbers, things that are gonna grip on the floor, gonna be protective. So actually it does make a big difference to how your bike rides. I know sometimes for people, if their bikes only cost them, a couple £100, spending basically the same amount of money on tyres doesn't make sense. But if you've got disposable funds, I think getting a good set of tyres is really worthwhile. A riding holiday might be the most expensive thing other than buying your bike, but what a great way to get out there, travel with your bike, feel like a pro for a week, go riding some of the best trails. Literally, the resources out there now are so good. Watch some of our videos, some of our epic ride videos. There's so many amazing places all around the world. Maybe you don't have to go too far afield. We recently went to Scotland, myself and Blake, had a brilliant time there. And it's a big difference from where we live in England. And it was just great to get away from things, ride some trails that you've never ridden before and just have a brilliant time on your bike. If you're on a budget as well, you can look into camping or staying locally in a hotel in your country. Getting away for a weekend, it's an ideal way to visit some spots or bike parks you've always wanted to. On that subject, if you are traveling with your bike and traveling fairly regularly, then I think a bike bag is a really worthy investment. Yes, you could go to a bike shop and normally they give you away a bike box. If you ask nicely, they'll give you one for free because they have loads of them, they try and get rid of them. So you can do it on the cheap. The thing about bike boxes is your bike, to get it really well protected and fitted in there, you're gonna have to go the extra step and really strap things together, get loads of bubble wrap, and it's just not as guaranteed to come out as undamaged as you hope. Whereas with a bike bag, they're just really well organized. You put your wheels in compartments, you maybe take your bars off, but your bike gets strapped in, super safe. There should be loads of padding in there, loads of handy pockets for spares, for pedals, for your shoes, bit of kit. I throw all that stuff in there as well, helps protect the bike. And if you're traveling regularly with your bike, I definitely think it's worthwhile having. A bike work stand. If, like me, you like to work on your bike, keep on top of even things like just as simple as lubing your chain, a bike stand can really make that job go from one of those things I really don't like doing after a ride to actually a bit of a joy. Get my bike washed, get it dried, stick it in my work stand, and that's where I can give the bike a check over. If I need to bleed the brakes, it's just so much easier than having to sort of rest your bike against the wall. I know we do get some brilliant hacks and bodges sent in our uploader, and we show them in the dirt shed of people building their own work stands. And there are some brilliant ones out there, so definitely well done to those people for doing it. Personally, I've had the same park work stand for years and years, and I've banged on about it before. It's just one of my favorite things. Top of the list is a good quality helmet. Yes, you can buy helmets that are cheaper. Kind of like most other things I've said already, the more you spend, the more technology you get. Top of the range helmets might have that rotational impact protection. There's things like MIPS, different brands have different things, but you definitely start to get that more technology in the more expensive helmets. Like the POC helmets we use also have that Reco technology, so it's like this technology that can be found basically, it's sort of what you see transponders almost in winter time. People use them if they go out skiing or snowboarding out of bounds. They use these systems so that you can be located by a helicopter. Same thing as in this helmet. It's like kind of different, it's not a transponder, but it basically helps you be found in the mountains. Loads of other nice features, just like nicer padding that you can take out and put back in, get washed. Definitely look at what features you get in your helmet, and you might have to spend a bit more for getting a really good one. Proper waterproof jacket. Now, yes, you can get those DWR jackets or clothes, but they're kind of repellent to water, and they can be really good if you're just in mixed conditions. If, however, you live somewhere like the UK and you want to ride your bike all year in those colder months where it's pouring down and it's freezing cold, then this is one of the best investments I've ever made, is getting a really good waterproof jacket. And again, you need to look at the ones that have got that proper membranes like Gore-Tex, those sort of jackets that are really good at keeping you dry, breathable and warm. And they can cost anything upwards of sort of £100 or dollars. But for me, you know, I like to ride my bike all year round, like I've said. I want to stay comfortable. I don't want to be rushing back to the van to get out of my clothes. And to be fair, if you're going out and doing some epic rides, then it's much safer to have a proper waterproof jacket. Controversial one, I'm going to say full suspension bikes. Yes, we do love hardtails here at GMBN, especially Blake. He bangs on about it all the time, and I've had some brilliant rides on hardtails. But personally, the type of riding I like to do is going fast down a hill. You can do it on a hardtail, but for me, it's kind of, it's fun, but I'm nowhere near as fast. I'm not a racer anymore, but I still kind of get a really big level of enjoyment from really pushing a bike to the limit. And if that limit on a hardtail is just not as fast, I know I can go on a full suspension bike, then it's not quite as much fun. Yeah, you can get full suspension bikes that are cheaper nowadays, so this doesn't have to cost you the earth. But I would say for me, it's one of those things, if I'm looking at buying a bike, I'm gonna look at the more expensive ones because I want a full suspension bike. Full suspension bikes do come at a premium of about €1,000, pounds, dollars more when you compare them to a hardtail with an equivalent spec, but they're certainly worth it. Speaking of suspension, when was the last time you had yours serviced? You definitely should look at the service schedules if you have a look inside your manual or look online for the brand of fork or shock you've got. There should be some sort of recommended interval of servicing that unit. Of course, it depends on your riding conditions and how often you're riding, but it can make a world of difference to how your whole bike feels. Suspension manufacturers like RockShox and Fox do have their own service centres, but there's also a lot of independent tuners popping up. Definitely in the UK, there's quite a big scene for that. I'm sure if you've got a good mountain biking scene in your country, just get online, Google it. There's probably a local or localish mountain bike tuner to you. A fork service typically costs around €100 to €120, pounds or dollars, and shocks are usually about the same. It might seem counterintuitive to spend so much money on something that isn't an upgrade, but freshly serviced suspension with new seals, O-rings, and damper and airspring fluid genuinely feels brand new. You could also even take the opportunity to increase the travel potentially on that fork of yours if you wanted to, and that's going to change the feel and geometry of your bike. There you go, there's a list of things that definitely aren't the cheapest upgrades or purchases that you can buy for mountain biking, but it's a list of things that, yes, I've been lucky enough to be a sponsored pro rider in the past and still get supported now. I've had these things and now I can't live without. So if I had to, I'd try and find the money somehow to find some of these things to really make your life a bit easier. Yeah, not necessarily more fun, because like I said, riding a cheap bike can be loads of fun as well. But I think if you're super into mountain biking, have a look at this list and think about some of these things and might make your life a bit easier and maybe a bit more fun as well. Give thumbs up and definitely add your stuff to the list down below. You know, if you think it might be a bit pricey, but you'd love to recommend it to us and the other viewers, I'll definitely be checking out the comments. Thanks very much.